I'm going to talk about demo jobs, recycling materials off the demo jobs, source separating of the materials, their markets, finding their markets, as well as markets for materials that are separated from construction material recovery operations. Who we are. Two Rivers is your one-stop demolition shop. We pretty much cover every aspect of tearing down the building. We work in, we'll go to a mall, we'll do an interior gut of a department store, a small store, or even a large store. We'll demolish multi-floor urban structures. We're a debris hauler. We're a concrete recycler. We're a C&D debris processor. We provide environmental abatement services for lead paint, asbestos removal, mold remediation, and we're consultants. How we first look at a job. We look at the material volumes. We look to see how much metal is on the job, how much wood waste is on the job, how much green waste, and how much inert materials. Not only does that help us figure out what we need to bid on the job, but it also allows us to decide if we're going to bring in a wood grinder to grind the wood on site and use that, either sell that as either a walk-on mulch product or fuel to a cogen facility. We look to see what the inert materials are. How much concrete is there? Is there enough concrete where we can transport in our own mobile crushing equipment to process that material, which we can sell directly on site to the existing contractor who hired us to go back into the future project on the site? Or do we look for other markets in the area, other projects going on, and sell this material to those contractors? We also look for the salvageable items that are on the job. HVAC equipment, electrical equipment, mechanical equipment. HVAC equipment such as the cooling towers, the chiller systems that cool large buildings. These all can be potentially reused. So we look for those markets. We track down companies that may be interested in purchasing those from us. And often it works great. They will come in, they will remove it, so it's not something we have to remove, and they will take away, properly handle all the hazardous materials associated with those items. Electrical items. Electrical items are easy. Electrical breakers, switch gear, motor control systems. Those essentially sell themselves. Very easy to get rid of rather than just trashing it for the scrap materials. Architectural items. Sometimes we find architectural items that are worth salvaging. Some old skylights are awful nice and can generate some revenues. Wood timbers. A lot of, we are a for-profit company. We're not one of these dismantling reuse companies, but often we find items that are of value that we will hang on to and market those items. Mechanical equipment, it's the same story with mechanical equipment as it is with the HVAC and the electrical equipment. And raised floors that come out of server farms, computer control rooms where all the wiring runs underneath. These floors are made of wood, metal, tile, multiple different things. It's generally something that you'd find yourself throwing directly into the garbage. Well, they're highly reusable, except for the 20% of the time when the tile is asbestos-containing material and it's too difficult to abate for resale. But finding the right market for all these items, the first thing that we do at Two Rivers and Second Cycle is we develop a list of buyers. We look in the back of demolition magazines, we look in the newspapers, we look in every periodical for every industry where these items may be able to be reused. And we develop a list of emails for each type of item. And often there's, one guy will end up buying a host of these, and they market and they try and find the end user. But that's something in my business where we don't have time to exactly find the end user in every situation. So what we do is We develop these lists, put it to undisclosed recipients. You attach photos, detailed photos, and you record the information such as catalog number, serial number, model number, and you send that out. And more than likely, before the week's over, all those materials have a home, and somebody will pay for the trucking to come get them, and they're taken directly off the job site. Dimensional lumber, as I kind of mentioned with the architectural items, timbers. Wood timbers can be re-engineered, remilled, and are very valuable to be reused in most construction projects. Rough sawn lumber. If we come to do a demolition at a home that it's built in the early 1900s, where it actually has the 2x4s, not what we see nowadays. Generally, we save those because people look for those. People have old homes that they want to restore, and they don't want to put new lumber in it, so we find the old stuff, we hang on to it. It's very valuable to us as it is to someone trying to refurbish their home. Wood scrap from construction activities. I'll touch on our construction material recovery facility later, but wood scrap from construction activities is not nearly as beat up as it is from demolition projects. Wood scrap is often 8 to 10 foot long and can be pulled to the side and sold separately. There's tons of homeowners wanting to make home improvements, and this is something that can be advertised for free in Craigslist or on CalMax, and it's something that turns very quickly. Not to mention that you yourself can reuse it for protecting building entryways or protecting items that will be saved. Items that come off of our previous construction material recovery facility. Cardboard, which was really one of the largest items that we had come through our facility for all the packaging. Plate glass from windows, colored glass, film plastics, green waste, scrap wood. Concrete primarily from demolition activities, not necessarily spoils from new construction. These materials are pretty self-explanatory. Smurfit Stone, they'll send trucks right over to pick up your cardboard. Plate glass, colored glass. Ming's Recycling here in town does great for us on both of those as long as they are separated from each other. Americon Recovery in the Bay Area, they will send trucks to pick up your baled film plastics and generate a great deal of revenue for our company. Scrap wood, first we want to go for the highest, best reuse. Pulling that out. If that doesn't work, we'll go to a mulch product. If that doesn't work, we'll cogen it. And that generates decent money as well. Most of the cogen facilities in Northern California will send trucks to you at no charge. So you really just have the labor, fuel, and equipment costs, getting the material ground and in the truck. Issues with recycling on the job site, volume of materials. A lot of times there's not a sufficient volume. If I'm doing a small job that's mainly drywall, and that drywall may be 1% asbestos containing, or if there's just a little bit of T-bar ceiling and ceiling tiles, if I don't have the volume, I'm not going to source separate. It's all going into one dumpster, and we generally self-haul, and that material will end up going more than likely to Kiefer landfill. It's got a very inexpensive tipping fee for us, and once again, we are a for-profit company, and when it's cheaper to dispose of it, we often have to, as sad as that can be sometimes. Storage of materials. Also, recycling on the job site is difficult to store materials. Sometimes you only have 20 days to complete a job. After this forum today, I will go up to Marysville to where we're doing a demolition of a Walmart, where we have 20 days to get it down and gone. We don't have time to bring in concrete crushers on site to recycle that, and we have quite a haul to dump those materials. However, in this case, I just got word today that we were able to lease a piece of land around the corner short term from this job site in Marysville, where we will take that material and we will crush it and we'll sell it to the local market. So, these are things we work hard on doing. I don't want to sound like we just want to take it to the landfill. It's the cheapest thing, and we really work hard on making this right so we can reuse it, and it does generate revenues for us. You know, so timeline and storage of materials are huge, you know, as well as fuel and labor costs. You know, it's a lot of labor to source separate, and it's a lot of fuel to be sending loads of materials to different areas of town. So there are definitely some of the issues we have. This is a picture of a job. We're not quite finished. We kind of got some water on the ground. There's a lot less than in this photo left now. This was the old Union newspaper building just around the corner on between 3rd and 4th on Capitol. And this was a building where we recycled 99.6%, I think, almost exactly. Almost everything was handled by us on site. We source separated all materials, the glass from the windows, the aluminum window frames. I think we had 36,000 tons of concrete that we recycled and sold off of the job site over a 20-day period. We had almost 1,500 tons of rebar come off this job. And I was talking earlier about the highest best reuse. The trees that were on this job site, we first looked at, well, can we reuse these trees for any of our own applications? We just had a demo job in Lincoln where all the trees, all the landscaping, we yanked up, and now we're going to put that in our new inert recycling center that we're putting together in Lincoln. So that's what we first tried to do with these trees. The second thing we tried to do is we contacted lumber mills to see if we could get these milled, turned into lumber. That didn't work. We didn't have enough time to get any sort of a mulch product made, so majority of the green waste was ground and sent to cogen. This was our material recovery facility for the Del Webb development, the Sun City and Lincoln Hills. It's a 6,500 or 7,000 home development. And this was kind of a nice deal because we weren't subject to CDI permitting since all the material was on site. It was processed on site before it left site, so we only required a conditional use permit from the city of Lincoln. This, we bought over 400 dumpsters to provide for the development. And they were releasing between 20 and 25 homes per week. That means 20 and 25 homes per week were finished or beginning at any given time. So we're very busy here. We purchased our sort line, and all this equipment is the same equipment that processed the World Trade Center debris. This is directly from Fresh Kills, purchased from Taylor Recycling. So all the material would go across this. Now, construction material, construction waste, is light. It's not like demo waste, where demo waste, unless it's source separated on the job site, is so compact it's hard to deal anything with. It's processed down so small to be crammed in trucks. So it's nice when you deal with construction waste. It just pretty much falls apart. It's something that can be very easily done with manual. And this we did close to, I think almost like 300 tons of cardboard per month, 400 tons of lumber per month. Just about 1,000 tons a month of material was processed through here. And on average, we got 85% or greater on materials. And this project is no longer, and we're just finishing up the last few homes now. We tried to get this, Del Webb, along with 3 other contractors, is doing a similar development in the Roseville area. Unfortunately, something like this was not pushed there. And we could not compete, even as a debris hauler, with the contractor who was awarded the project due to flow control. With the high tipping fees at the Western Regional Landfill, a lot of contractors aren't following flow control. They're kind of making up their own rules, thinking that they are contractors themselves, and it's self-haul when they're hauling. And so a lot of material is going to Kiefer Landfill for a very low price. And it doesn't make us competitive to do projects like this, which is definitely sad because, you know, this project alone in partnership with the city of Lincoln really raised their diversion rate, I think upwards of almost 70%. This just shows this is less than just 1 month's worth of cardboard off of a construction site. It's amazing how many things are packaged and cardboard for construction, everything from nails, screws, strapping. This is less than 1 month. These are all the plastics, all the CRV off of a construction job. Kind of blows your mind, all this generated. I mean, you can see it looks like some Tide bottles, milk jugs, everything like that. I mean, imagine a lot of that was coming from these laborers' homes. But also think about a job site this big where you have 2,000 laborers a day. And in the hot summer, think about the CRVs. How many, if they just each drank 1 bottle of water, 1 soda a day, that's 2,000 beverage containers per day on a construction job site coming into our facility. It's quite a bit. You should have seen how many beer bottles would show up. It's kind of odd. I think some of you have probably stopped by and seen them before. I mean, you get almost 10-yard dumpster a day of beer bottles coming out of back of everybody's trucks. And you can see, this gives a good example of how light the wood waste was and how dimensional it is compared to demolition wood waste that is just pulverized beyond belief. This is easily managed, and it's such a clean product that you can really do a lot with it. I mean, you can put it through wood grinders with the dye package and make very clean, nice mulch. And this shows our waste pile where you can really see how much cardboard is in it and how light it is. It's non-compacted like demolition debris. This allowed for us to reach the extremely high diversion rate that we did see. This is a photo of electrical substation off of a demo job that we did about, I think, 1.5 years ago. And this was a nice case where there was no PCB containing oils in it. And we contacted Dove Bid because this was such a large item. It's kind of hard for us to sell that for reuse in the state of California or in the western states. So we contacted Dove Bid, and they helped us match with a buyer overseas that will reuse this equipment. And just kind of the last slide in closing, in 2003 by Demolition and Recycling International, they ranked us as the number 90th international for demolition and recycling company. And in it was 2003. In 2004 we were number 88, and 2005 we just found out we were the 81st largest in the world. So we're growing, and we are beginning to view problems not expanding the existing mousetrap to catch the 1 or 2% more diversion, but we're looking at the residual to see how we can reduce that and help really tighten in the loop and close that even more. So that's all I have. Thank you.